After we spent some time in class talking about The Mending Wall by Robert Frost, I wanted to walk through poetry explication with you with another poem by Frost. This one is called Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. And we're going to go through explication with a little help from shmoop.com. Robert Frost wrote this poem in 1922, and it was 2 years before winning the first of his 4 Pulitzer Prizes. Frost is known for his descriptions of nature, especially the New England landscape. He's known for creating simple poems that can be interpreted on many levels. He was also big on sounds, and we're going to talk about that later with how the sounds of words can carry more meaning than the words themselves. Some people think that this is a poem just simply about a man appreciating nature. Some think it might be a metaphor about death, and some even take it one step further and say it could be addressing suicide. What Robert Frost says about the sound of words is this. What we do get in life and miss so often in literature is the sentence sounds that underlie the words. Words themselves do not convey the meaning. Let us take the example of 2 people who are talking on the other side of a closed door, whose voices can be heard, but whose words cannot be distinguished. Even though the words do not carry the sound of them does, and the listener can catch the meaning of the conversation. To me, a sentence is not interesting merely in conveying a meaning of words. It must do something more. It must convey meaning by sound. So why should I care what he's talking about in this poem? Well, have you ever wanted to escape from the world for a little while? Leave social media, ignore your emails, maybe record a mischievous message on your phone, stuff your homework and tests under your bed? Well, if you answered yes to any of these questions, this poem is for you. Sometimes we crave alone time like the speaker does in this poem. In a world where we're constantly stimulated by internet, TV, phones, where we're busy as bees, do we get to spend much time alone anymore? Do we ever get a chance to just stop and smell the roses? You're going to take notes today on the paper copy of the poem that you should have received in class. Write small, you're going to record a lot of information. And in fact, you may want to grab an extra piece of notebook paper in case your notes overflow what you have room for in the margins. In step 1, we're going to read the poem slowly and aloud. It may be a good idea for you to partner up with somebody and actually read this to each other because Robert Frost pays such close attention to how words sound. You'll get a different meaning by listening to it out loud rather than just reading it in your head. Once you've read through the poem one time, I want you to write down at least one thing that stood out to you, and you can just write this in the margin above the title of the poem. Please stop this slideshow here until you've had a chance to complete this step. Next, you're going to read the poem for a second time, and you're going to highlight any unfamiliar words and write the definitions in the left margin of the poem. You can circle them, highlight them, draw little arrows to where you write their definition. It's just important that you understand what each word means. I also need you to identify and label the rhyme scheme in the right margin. Remember to write small because you're going to be putting some more things on that side of the poem. Remember, rhyme scheme is taking a look at the last word in each line and labeling with letters of the alphabet how they rhyme with each other. Once again, I'd like you to stop this slideshow until you've completed this step. Step 3 involves putting the lines of these poems into your own words. We've talked before that poets oftentimes change the order of words to get a certain rhythm or to match a rhyme scheme. We want you to just Now change this so that it just sounds like regular speech. Once again, if you run across a word you don't know, please look it up. And please pause the slideshow until you've completed this. So how do others translate this poem? Here's an example. In the first stanza, the speaker's in the woods, but he's trespassing. He wonders who owns the woods, then he tells us he thinks he knows. He says the landowner lives in town. Phew, the speaker won't get caught trespassing. Stanza 2. Surprise! The speaker has a horse, and it's little. Now the speaker spends this stanza psychoanalyzing the little fella and supposes that the horse thinks it's strange to stop in the middle of nowhere. So they're chilling. Get it? Chilling. It's winter. Between the woods and a frozen pond. Are they going skating? No, it's the darkest night of the year, which is usually winter solstice in December. Stanza 3. The little horse starts losing it. Fortunately, he has some harness bells and gives them a little shake for attention. The only other sounds are the wind and the falling snow. Shh, it's quiet. The speaker admits liking the dark woods in stanza 4, but he's got things to do, people to see, places to go, and he has a long way to go before he gets to his little pillow, so he better get going. I want you to pause for a moment here and think about how did the explication that I just shared with you compared to yours. And then please tune in to part 2 of this lesson.